example number one is this MVMT watches. Now, this is a drop shipping brand that's worth over $100 million. So drop shippers can get there. Go ahead.
They started as drop shippers, and then they added their logo, and right now it's $1 million.
Well, and, that's kind of the point. I don't think anybody should live in drop shipping forever. I think drop shipping is meant to prove concept, prove commercial viability, and then you start to go figure out how to, source and improve the margins of your product. But what's cool about their site is you head there, it's the gold standard for e-com as far as I'm concerned. Their navigation is crystal clear, super perfect. They use the isolation effect pretty much everywhere. They do a really good job at identifying the values. So you know what it is that's available to you. It's high commercial intent throughout. There's a little bit more in the way of offers than I generally like. Dads and grads sale, 20% off, use code GIVE20. I kind of like things to be a little bit cleaner, but I mean, they make way more money than I do. So clearly they're right and I'm wrong. Great images. They have a very distinct call to action. They offer live chat. Their chat's in the bottom left too, which is really interesting. That's kind of a change in paradigm, but I think that sometimes it really helps. Really well structured customer service links. What I like about this too is it allows people to be self-directed. You don't want to have to field customer service inquiries if you don't need to. And people are getting better and better and better by the day of making sure that they kind of, solve their own problems. You can see the value badges that they offer. Each one of these icons, I think, kind of help validates what it is that they're offering. They have social media CTAs where applicable. They make the contact information very readily accessible, including their policies and terms. And if you look at their product pages, they're phenomenal. Great social proof. You get to kind of really sort of play with the products in as much as you want to, customize the products as much as you want to. And what I like about the product customization here is it doesn't feel, because they're using additional images, it doesn't feel difficult. It actually doesn't feel like work. It's sort of fun. You find yourself playing with it. I bought a knife recently that was the same way. Like it became a game. I really enjoyed the entire process. Great. And I like the description in human. But the upsells are value driven too. You feel like you're getting more. You're not just, being bait and switched. So I'm a big fan of these folks. More badges. Again, they're constantly pushing the value. They have a ton of really good lifestyle images. Product details are really clear. It's easier for me to figure out what the product is. And you'll notice throughout, it would be difficult for me to find a reason to have to chat with them or talk to them. They've answered all the questions on the outset. They've done a really good job with it. So that's case study number one. So Don, you were the first, and we're going to go pick on your site here a little bit. So I like what Don's done. I think your interstitial pops too soon. That's, by the way, something that Scott Cunningham disagreed with me on. They pop it faster than I generally do. But the reason I don't like popping the interstitial so soon is because you'll notice, especially if you install like True Conversion, Hotjar, Lucky Orange, etc., people tend to close it almost immediately. Whereas if you give it just a little bit longer, then the offer might be a little bit more relevant or applicable. Your images are stunning. Like, these are beautiful. Did you take these yourself? These are great. And then I like the rollover. You're using the isolation effect, which is great. So I know exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do. I like that you've got free shipping on all orders, and the message is singular. It's clear. Let's go take a look at a product page, because I think those are going to be the most important. We've got our 15% off. What does it do when I do that? Okay, cool. Product imagery. The zoom here feels a little non-functional. Like I almost get lost in doing it. I don't know if, John, if you agree or disagree.
Yeah, I've been looking at the site, so as soon as they started rolling in, I think this is nitpicky. And I don't know how it's going to work on mobile. I didn't check it on mobile just yet, but that's where I'd look at first, is how does that image grow on mobile? I don't know if the functionality is going to be the same. I'm going to grab my phone real quick. I'm going to try it on Chrome browser. us.katal.
On mobile, the text display changes too, which is really cool. So what I like that you did, Don, is when I'm on the product, you in the description, you kept the description isolated, which a lot of stores have a hard time with this, because the page gets so expanded that when I scroll down, some of the other elements tend to kind of feel disembodied, and you protected from that using the UI. And then I also like, you've got a lot of really good information here, but you're not overwhelming me with it. You're instead letting me kind of click through based off of what I want categorically, which I think is awesome. Good use of social proof. What happens if I add you to my cart? No, so that's the one thing I don't want you to do. what if I wanted to buy other stuff? And now I'm basically being prompted to check out. This is the whole run to the shopping cart and drag you to the checkout analogy. Instead, what I'd like to see is just a visual, so and you'll see like overlays, slide ins, pop-ups that say, hey, this has been added to the cart. And I think that tends to be preferable, my soft opinion. The other thing that you can also do is offer, people we're also interested in, really like the call outs here. Results. I would want to know more about what this is. This feels like it's the beginnings of a case study, but it is a little incomplete.
So
I would
here's
move this. You'll also like up. I think that some of the rest of this is a little fluffy in terms of content. I think that you'll also like, and the social proof should be prioritized. Sorry, John, go ahead.
That's right. On my screen here, one thing that I noticed on mobile is because it has that hover scroll on mobile, if you click, it's a click scroll. So if I try to scroll, it doesn't actually drag the image around. That was one of the things that I would say is sometimes a little bit of an issue. I would imagine that the reason why you would want to have an image like this is to read ingredients, but if I click off to the left, it's like, oops, I missed the picture now. And it's sometimes you kind of have to click up and down to get back to it. Again, nitpicky, but being in the hot seat, I'm going to try to pick it apart as fine detail as I possibly can. So if we could, I don't know if your theme supports it, but having it to where it's a click and then a full image and then a box to close it works a lot better than the kind of click scrolls on mobile, just because sometimes that gets a little finicky.
Sean is up next. OSO Design Co. Launching summer 2021.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in, while you're doing this, I'm going to drop in everyone's link to their own Google page speed insights report so that you have a page speed report. And I'm going to drop those in one by one in the chat. So just grab yours and you'll see your URL in each one of those links.
Brilliant. I'm going to start on the product pages, y'all. I think that's the best place for us to go. So catalog, we'll go jewelry, and then I'm just going to pick one ad hoc. Well, actually, let me go back to the category because I kind of like what you did here. Just a note for everybody that Sean has been able to accomplish. Sometimes discounts can be so gratuitous that they're no longer believable. So if you have, a $9,000 product that's been marked down to $99 or whatever, I see that a lot in the jewelry space. I think it actually hurts your ability to convert. What Shauna has is a more believable discount. One mild note, though, is it might make sense to not discount every single product. If there are some products that are discounted and some that aren't, it kind of helps people differentiate and delineate. You might be able to drive people to certain inventory. John,
Yep. So Google actually started to crack down on this last year. This is actually a reason for suspension. Not every time. Yeah, not every time, but misrepresentation. And what Google was doing is this is more on the side of GTIN available products. If you have a GTIN that other people sell and other people sell it on average, let's say $299, and you say that it's $599 marked down to $349, it actually will sometimes pop a suspension for misrepresentation. And it doesn't even need to be a GTIN product. If Google thinks that there's a GTIN out there for your product and you do not have a GTIN, it like kind of doubles down on that suspension. So be very, very mindful about if you haven't launched a Google Ads campaign yet. My strong recommendation is turn off all sales immediately. Then submit to Google Merchant Center your feed. And then once you have your feed up and running, then later on, and give it at least a week, then you can start to price discount your products. But I've had this a few times where it took weeks to figure out with Google that it is actually a immediate sale and it's misrepresentation. Like you're basically lying to the people that this wasn't actually that price and you marked it down, and Google they have ways to identify that. Even if they're wrong, you're still suspended. So you're still the beneficiary of their ignorance, I guess I would say. But that's it. Also, we have, and I forget the exact website URL. I just dropped it in, Dawn. Right now, I just dropped in your page speed insights. Definitely, I noticed that on mobile on my phone because I viewed it in incognito, which means first time I've ever been to the website, which loads everything fresh, was a little bit slow for me. That gave you a 15 out of 100 ranking. Again, we're not looking for 100. Mid 50s, high 60s would be in that range that you'd want to be in on mobile especially. But you'll see that as Google thinks that your time to interactive is 25.9 seconds before someone can actually engage with that. So that's going to be huge. That's going to give you a low quality score. So just something like that. Yep, perfect. Got it. Awesome. I'm going to keep going.
Shauna, this swallows up way too much real estate in the header. I would deprioritize, and you've got it. It's kind of redundant here too, so I don't know that this is necessary. My soft opinion. I think the rest of this, though, from a UI perspective, is great. I like that when I choose a different box, it brings me to a different image, but you're using both images to show kind of, more about the product. I think that's fine. I like that we've got the check marks, the little emojis that show people, hey, look at everything we're getting. Product title might be a little bit more robust, John.
Heart necklace for mom.
14K.
Well, I would say, heart necklace, for mom is fine. That's most I would kind of fluff that, but I would say silver.
There you go.
Because that's what people are going to look for. Silver versus gold, very polarizing.
You add like with box, with jewelry box or something.
Yeah, with presentation box, something like that. Yeah, or
I like this where we saw that frequently. Sometimes that does work against you incidentally. There's, manufactured scarcity can hurt. And just be careful. Once shipped sort of makes sense. Love your badges. These are great. Did you do these yourself? Because these are awesome. 5 great reasons to buy from us. I think that's phenomenal. Solid enough description. 14K white gold finish. What happens when I add you to my cart? Whoa, order bump. Look at that. One-time offer. Well done, Shauna. You know what? Yeah, I'll take it for $10. Why not? And now I'm in the checkout. I really like what you did with the order bump, but I'd love to, instead of taking me to checkout, prompt me to buy other stuff. Other people were also interested in, here's other products that you might be interested in, whatever. I really like this cart reserved for. That's interesting. That also might work against you depending on how long it takes them for shop to other products, but still nice touch. We stayed in the URL, proceed to checkout.
Quick question, is that cart actually reserved for that amount of time?
Yeah, what happens at the end of 10 minutes, Shauna? Just curious.
I don't know yet.
One other note, y'all, some Shopify themes allow this, some don't, but if you don't use discount or coupon codes, kill the coupon code field. Because I can tell you that people that are really cheap, e.g. me, will stop here, go Google looking for discount coupon codes, and that's enough for them to get distracted in other things. So if you use discount codes, great, leave it. If you don't, kill it because it's not to your benefit. Moving on to Daryl. Oof.
You know what is now, Kasim?
What?
For the second case study for Gymshark that you will see, they do keep the coupon code. You don't have to present it right now. I just want to mention it. They do have
back to case studies.
And what they do is that you can actually find the code, like for $5 or $10. They post it on some coupon sites.
Yeah.
And then for a cheap like Kasim, who will find the code, he will be so happy to get this $10 discount that for him it will be much more valuable than if you would offer it on your website, actually, because he did the research and he found his money back.
Yeah, that's super sharp. I love that.
Yeah.
So seed coupon codes elsewhere, and then people like me think that they're getting away with something. Let's go to a product page. I'm just gonna say pants, men's pants. Congratulations, you got 20% off. That's kind of cool. There's a lot of header. You've got a header here. This says free gift. I wonder what that is. Minimum purchase of $100. I feel a little distracted by that, because if I click through and I'm already in my purchase procedure, now I've got to read and I have to figure out what it is. So use promo code below to get 25% off your first purchase.
My opinion, that should be your first email.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then we've got our code at checkout. And I wonder if this code is going to, what does it happen when I click on it? That's a dead page. So I'd fix that. I'd be a little careful about things that take me away from shopping. You've already got me here. And so, internal CTAs that aren't an immediate conversion event might be a little bit dangerous. There's also a lot of real estate desktop wise being swallowed up by header menus. Like this, congratulations, you got 20% might fit just as well there. And then if the logo is, and I realize this could be theme specific, but justified to the left a little bit, this entire space is wasted. So you could eat up a lot of space here, which moves everything above the fold. Let's see what happens on mobile. Not that this is necessarily perfect. Yeah, actually on mobile, it's sort of, assuming this is mobile representative, sort of the same thing. You could save people a lot, and it just decreases the amount that they've got to scroll. Not a huge deal, but worth noting.
Can I say something? Can you go back to mobile, please?
Yeah.
If I then scroll down a little bit, if you select size large, okay, cool. I just want to make sure that that little pop-up on the bottom actually dynamically rolled with the selection there. So it does, which is good.
And it looks like the only color available is ash. I'd kill color because now it's making me think more than is necessary to make that purchase decision. So I'd remove color as a drop down. The quantity here is pretty cool. Add to cart takes me to checkout. I've got a feeling that's going to be a ubiquitous truth with everybody. Make sure all y'all fix that. I love this though. So whatever you've got going on here, this is really fun.
Together.
Issue you're going to run into though is you've got this Pinterest overlay that I think is going to interrupt the functionality of the frequently bought together. Because if I click on Pinterest, then it plays with Pinterest. I might kill that Pinterest thing. I don't know how much I like that. And then opening in the new tab is a little jarring in terms of the browsing experience, but that actually might not, that might be the way that the utility functions. I really like that you can customize the product here. I think that's super cool too. I imagine that's theme specific. How do I select this? It says add selected to cart. Oh, these are these. So if I say, okay, I don't want that. How do I uncheck it? There we go. That's kind of cool. Confused me a little bit, but now that I know how it works, maybe it's just because I'm a dummy. I don't know the benefits is the right word there. And then we've also got the you may also like, and I really enjoyed like this. Let's move people off into other products that might appeal to them. I like your sizing chart. That's pretty cool. So I would just fix some of the size and distribution. We also have the hover scroll that zooms in. The other thing that I'd say is more lifestyle images. I know you're not going to like hearing that, but I mean, to be honest with you, like these two are more appealing from a product perspective than these two because it's a real life human being that I get to see. And so if you were able to take those shorts and, let's say we throw a dude in the short and the dude is aspirational and he's all cut up and I want to be all cut up. Now I'm just more likely to buy that product, I think. That's a lifestyle image. So I don't know how possible that is, depending on where the products are coming from and if you have access to them, but that's a good note. John, anything to add?
The only thing I would say is I would be really wary about that. And you already touched on it. So it's just, hopefully it's not just me doubling down on it, but that pin is going to be very difficult on mobile just because I don't have a cursor to avoid it. It's my thumb and I kind of have fat thumbs. So I tend to fat finger things. So that would just be my one. It'd be a really interesting A/B test to see what cart value changes when you remove that pin.
Yeah. And there's something, we call it thumb friendly. You want to make sure that everything can basically be done with one hand using the thumb. John, you want to take the next one?
Oh, yep. Just give me 1 second. Just dropped my last prime level sports. Perfect. Okay. Sorry. I was going one by one and closing the window. What's the next one here?
Savita's inner beef.
Okay.
I'll slack it at you.
Everyone, just as a FYI, you should have your PageSpeed Insights report now in the chat. I've done them all. There are some ones I think not to call anybody out really, but that last one, the prime level sports, I think had a 9 out of 100 in terms of, I'll just actually share my screen here. This one here is just going to be something we will definitely want to take a look at. Your desktop is at 50, which is good. The mobile fairly slow, and only because this is what Google thinks. This is a big, almost to a point where it's like, hey, why aren't my ads showing? I've had one client there that had a very slow website that Smart Shopping never got more than like 3 to 4 impressions per week. Didn't run essentially. And that was just because Google thinks that if I send traffic to your site, it's going to take 30 seconds for them to start to click on something. Now, time to interactive means after everything's fully loaded, the UI and UX have finalized. Maybe some additional code is still being dropped in the background, and that's still going to end up running even after it's interactive. But this here, the time to interactive, Google thinks is going to take 30 seconds. And that's where Google just says, in a competitive ecosystem, I'll probably show everyone else first, because that's how Google thinks it's competitiveness. And so that's just something I'd like to point out. How do I pull up the chats on this site? Oh, there it is. There we are. All right. So next one, and Cosme, you said you selected to me?
Yeah, it's in the 3XS Slack channel, innerbleaf.com.
Perfect. All right.
And I'm just trying to get ahead. So while you're doing that, I'm going to look at a couple of the others. So I'm ready.
All right. First thing that kind of pops out to me, my opinion, is the logo being featured in the background. Again, we're going to be kind of brutally honest, and so I apologize about this. But the logo on the background like that is going to be, to me, indicative of, hey, we just had like this kind of just be created, and we just kind of slapped it on there. Usually transparent backgrounds are where you're going to want to live, and so that might mean that you might have to use a transparent background, so like a PNG, and you might possibly have to change the text of the logo. What you're looking for is that trust factor. Comparing it to like Evolve. Remember when we showed Evolve, it's, do I trust that I'm going to buy from this company? Will they be around for some time? A lot of people will look at, they'll take your brand name, they'll go to Google and they'll type in the word review after it. So Innerbelief, .com reviews, and they're going to see, has anybody else purchased from this? So social proof is obviously going to also be very important. First thing I would say too is definitely some of the text get lost in the background, but just looking at homepage, I'm going to hop over to the product page. One of the number one things that we see inside of Lucky Orange is people do this. And they start clicking like on the picture. I'm like, oh, I should be going to the crop top. And they don't actually click on the shop now. This is a secondary click. So my opinion would be, if possible, to make this whole thing this whole area here, if this is going to be kind of the area, either have this be clickable and this be clickable here. Something that they can click on. I don't know why, but people click on images and they just think that they're always hyperlinked. So if not, maybe supplement this with a hero image instead of a full length hero image. Full length hero images are a lot easier for people to identify what the call to action is in that full length hero image, because they see two pictures that are like full size, and then over in what they call the copy space. Copy space is over on one side, and if you ever do an image, I'll share with you an example of what copy space is. And I'm just going to go to Google and type in copy space example. I'm going to click on images. I'm going to bring it over here at one moment. There we go. This is what copy space is. And copy space means an area for copy to be given. So you see how this has got a copy space here. This has the copy space here. This has the copy space up there. Usually you have an area that you want to have a full length feature of a hero image, and then an area in copy space that's made for your CTA, so that it's not kind of overlapped. Possibly the font is not necessarily falling into the background, and you're able to separate them out. Here's my product lifestyles, or product/lifestyle images, and then my copy space with some text and a CTA. So that's okay. I know exactly where to place that CTA. It's obvious to them. On that, I like these. These look great. The lifestyle images to choose. This is, I would have your nice hero image right here. Make sure that your hero image doesn't go below the fold. So in this space here, your hero image, in my opinion, would want to cover from here to about there. You want to have some area below the fold here for the next available thing to look at. This is going to be more important for generalized remarketing. Google searches, DSA campaigns are going to sometimes hit your homepage. Those type of links. You want to be able to say, okay, if I look at this page here, the next thing, here's where I want to see. I want to kind of see the next part of the page. So I scrolls down. So it prompts me to scroll down and say, what else can I look at? And then let me go to a product page real quick. Definitely love the lifestyle image. Again, as general rule of thumb, I always like when you can click and expand and then close. When you click and expand and you have a gallery to go cycle through them, a lot of times that's where they're going to make their purchase decision. They can click, get a big, beautiful image, go, I like this. Is it available in my size? And so that is a good indicator here. My opinion too, I actually like the product details in between the selection. It seems odd, but if I could swap these two here, my selection and my description, what we're looking for right now is convincing first, then ask for the sale. Right now we're like, hey, we have a floral women's A-line midi skirt. What size do you need? Well, tell me about it. So that area here is going to be important too. So, okay, so it's fitted hips. I'm self-conscious about my hips. I maybe not like this, or whatever it may be. So you want to be able to kind of give them this description. And this is also getting a little bit chopped up, but I would place the title, then the description. Make sure your titles are using either title case or sentence case. This is a mix of both. It has sentence case right here, then title case right here. Just something that is that trust factor. Do I trust this website? like misspellings and those type of grammatical errors, those type of things are enough to people say like, I don't subconsciously, I'm not ready to buy yet. I don't trust it. So make sure you're using title case and sentence case perfectly. Have the title, the description, the selection, and then supportive content here, like the size chart. I think that's a great idea. I actually would put the size chart in the gallery. Putting in the gallery means I like it, I like it, I like it. Would it fit me? So I placed this picture here, if you can, in here, because what you'll notice is it's how many folds is it away? All right, it's one full fold away. Normally on product pages, only 50% of the traffic make it below the first fold, which is why you usually have your product descriptions above the fold. If they like the pictures, they like the title, they like the price, they like the descriptions, they will scroll down and then buy. But you have to convince them first. So putting that size chart in the imagery here is going to be very supportive. I see that you have a share, tweet, and pin. So we're bringing in some social aspects here. But what I would say is, if possible, if you do have an Instagram, cultivate an Instagram community. An Instagram community, especially for clothes, are going to be important because you'll also want to have an Instagram feed in here of your hashtags. So if you are saying like hashtag inner belief, and you can get some people to do that, you can pull in an Instagram feed of the hashtag inner belief, and then you can police the images that are involved in there so that you can see how other people, what they look like when they try it on. It's not a minuscule, but it is dangerous. Minuscule change would be, hey, I'm just pulling an Instagram feed. But if your products possibly don't look the great when they're on, and I know this industry term, oh, this looks great on, when someone has it on, how does it look on them? They need to see those images, or a lot more lifestyle images, in my opinion. So this is good with it looking like on. But again, if you're going to pull in a social aspect, try to pull in realism too. It just helps there. I love that you also may like very, very similar products back to new this season. That's perfect. A good back button there. Header again, I would probably make sure that logo is changed. Now what happens if I add to cart? Yes, perfect. Hey, it's been added to your cart. You want it ready to check out? You want to continue shopping? That's great. Got payment here, USD. That's good here. Yeah. Other than that, I think that this is great. What I would do for newsletter and subscribe, for me, there's no reason to ever do this. That's my opinion. There's a popular blog title, and it's called "No One Cares About Your Newsletter," and it's because the people are selfish. Okay, am I going to give you my email? That's a form of my currency. That's my time and my personal inbox. What am I going to get? Sign up for new releases and discounts. Okay, great. New releases and discounts. Yeah, if I like your clothes and you come out with something new and you're going to give me a discount for it, I'll give you my email. Newsletter, and please, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I don't believe you're sending out a newsletter. So again, that transparency, that honesty, and that selfishness is going to be what's top of mind for that user. I'm gonna stop sharing here. What's the next one on the list?
Underdog Games. I really like this. I think that I've lost all names of y'all, by the way, because I opened up URLs, so forgive me. But a couple of notes. Number one is a similar issue here. This call to action, same thing that Daryl had a problem with. This takes me away from my purchase event. So I wouldn't do anything. I do things that reinforce wherever I am now, but you don't want to like land them on a page and I'm about to buy the coconut game and I'm like, oh, I want a free poster. So now you just sold somebody a free poster instead of a potential game. Love the use of social proof. I think the title could be way more descriptive. This needs to be like, coconuts, kids games for ages 7 to whatever. Good use of social proof. To John's point, we've got our description here first. I love the use shop we give. So 60 cents goes to the World Wildlife Fund. This is, alignment of mission, vision, value stuff. People now feel like you're helping them fight the evil. This is the good versus evil, paradigm that we talked about a little bit. I don't know that I would tell them how much though. I feel like it would just be a percentage. People don't really factor in things like, what your net margins are, what fulfillment costs, how much it keeps to keep your light on. So even though that could be a substantial amount of your net profit, you don't want folks to feel like you're not, contributing it. You don't want it to take a positive, turn it into a negative. Love the ongoing reminder that we get free expedited shipping. I think it's pretty cool. I did have a problem with your gallery though. Let's see if I can do it again. Basically, I outran it. And it's not doing that now. So I guess you're in good shape. I've only got buy now instead of add to cart, but it doesn't bring me to a checkout, which is really funny. So this button I would say is maybe an add to cart. And then what this slide in overlay is what I want everybody else to have. This lets me know like, oh, okay, cool. And then I can continue. But once I've added to the cart, now you need to help direct me in saying other people were also interested in. Love, love, love your badges. Love the explainers here, 20 minutes, ages 7, ages 2 to 4. All of this overcomes objections. And there are objections people don't even necessarily know that they have. There's additional context. FAQs feel a little sparse, but not a huge deal. Customer reviews are awesome. And then we have our email. To John's point, nobody cares about newsletters. But what's cool for you is you could say, hey, do you want a free game in your inbox? We've got a fun game that you can print out and play with your kiddos. Sign up here. And I mean, I imagine that would probably be pretty easy to come up with. John, anything to add? I'd like to see some kids playing the games. Talking about lifestyle images. I know sometimes that's probably hard to come up with depending on where this is coming from.
Yeah, I like this. The custom logo kind of goes along with the theme.
Yeah.
How's the search functionality? It's funny. If is this on Shopify?
Yeah, it is.
It is? Okay, awesome. If it's on Shopify, Shopify actually gives you how many people searched per visit. It's a metric that's a conversion action that's defaulted to be not included, hopefully. Sometimes it does, but we'll go through that anyway. But but you actually can see how many people search. So if that search functionality is working properly, that's something you can measure engagement with, especially as a lead indicator into Google Smart Shopping. So yeah, I was just curious how the search worked, because that is a heavily influential metric for Google.
This is also, I don't know if you're going to want to do this, Dave, but you might consider gating the rules. That's a good opportunity to capture email addresses. You tell them, hey, we'll send it straight to you. And now I know exactly what game you're interested in. So you get to follow up and try to sell them. Maybe not worth it. I don't know, but just worth a test.
Well, what you can also do too is we can select a remarketing audience. So people that visit a specific URL, if you didn't want to get it. So Cosmo, if you go up there and click on that rule PDF again.
Oh, it's right here.
So that you can say if URL contains or equals, and then that URL there is a rule. And instead of remarketing audience, you can say anybody that has viewed the rules but also has not converted. That can be a remarketing audience for people that have engaged with the rules, and that you can share that specific game back to them that they view the rules on. So it's a point for a remarketing audience to be generated and then remarketed against.
For the Jade Lily's Skin Botanicals, so what you've done here from an offer perspective is really powerful. Orders over 75 ship free, plus every order gets 2 free samples. I think that's really compelling. I'd make this a little bigger. It's hard for me to see. It's a little kind of deprioritized, but I just would mention that I think that's a really powerful offer. I am curious. We've got our get 20% off. So that's interesting. I didn't notice that. This says get 20% off. This says get 15% off. So you want to fix it. And then if I do that, am I going to get 20% off and 2 free samples and free shipping on $75? Just be careful about making too many offers on the front end. There's very little context here. So I've got exfoliating face balm, face scrub, always vegan and cruelty free. But this kind of above the fold area could afford, I think you could actually probably take some of these details and include it here. And you're going to need just more images. Really, for this particular avatar and demographic, what you need is a pretty person putting this on their face. And dive into who your avatar is and try to use whoever you think is going to be most applicable to it. But just the jar by itself isn't going to be quite as compelling as if you can get somebody, an actual lifestyle image. I like that we've got a wish list, but I should be logged in, I think, in order to be able to use that. The social CTAs, is this a share? It is. Okay, just curious. When I add to cart, bam, good job. So we've got the pop-up, and I really like this calculator. Only 55 away from free shipping. That's super cool. That's compelling, so I can continue. And then if I want to continue shopping, it might be helpful to have other people also viewed. I like that you have the review option here. That's pretty cool. There just needs to be more reviews, obviously, but that'll come with time. And again, I think that your product description and or breakdowns could be a little bit more embedded, feel like they're actually a part of the product. Because right now, when I look at the product, I don't connect these two things mentally. Like my psychological frame sort of says oh, well, there's not really much here. And then now I scroll down and view it. I think that you can the very first site that we reviewed did a phenomenal job of that, where they had everything just felt like it was almost like in one app. Let me go find that again so I'm not talking out of my hat here. I think it was Don's site. So let's see if I'm lying to you. Yeah, this was it. So if I go look at Don, and forgive me for picking on you again, Don, but I really love this. You know, I've got a robust product title, subtitle, social proof, the price, the size, and then all of this really good information about the product. And it's all because it's inside of the same frame. It's connected contextually. Where here it just feels a little bit connected or disconnected. I really like that you have your exit intent though. Sign up now to get free shipping on everything in your cart. That's interesting. I'm also curious what happens when I submit. So you've got a lot of really cool, you know, catalytic offers. You know, there's one in your header, one on the side, the exit intent. You've done a lot of really good jobs there. I'd shore up the product listing specifically. Let me look at your homepage just real quick. More isolation effect in your offers, like view connection. And none of these are really, I'm not being called to do any of them. So this is when we talked about using the isolation effect or contrast colors in your CTAs. I think that you would benefit from using those there. The images on your homepage are really pretty. I think that's well done. I'd love to see, again, more lifestyle images. Anything to add, John?
This is really, really well done. I do love the custom imagery. I think that's something that was fantastic. I was listening while I was looking at the prime level sports, and I think
I didn't mean to sneak attack you. I just wanted to
no worries. No, I think they did a great job.
All right, you are up.
All right. Are you stopped? Oh, there it is. It was still showing you sharing. All right, perfect. So a couple things right off the bat. Again, logo, I would choose possibly a different color background so that it blends in. This, again, sometimes with the bleeds being so close to, kind of looks like just slapped down there. And it also looks a little skewed. The first thing too is it's not necessarily branding, but that's something that gives that indication of, you know, do people think that the person that owns this, because they don't know you personally, so everything is personal, do they think that you care? So that was one thing that I would say is right off the bat. The other part is using the all caps versus title case. So we can see that we have a non-cap, and then it goes 3 caps, and then non-cap, and then 2 caps, and then non-cap and non-cap. So definitely try to make sure that these are shored up here as much as possible. Here's something that I don't know if you knew, but this is super important. So if anybody else has this issue, please pay close attention, because you'll see this is insane. When you put a SKU in there, especially if you're drop shipping, that's Googleable. And so here's an example: flex and stretch bands, awesome, $32.95, interesting. There's the SKU, highlight, right click, $32.95 just turned into $9. Same picture. Custom imagery, hiding SKUs, using products, titles, and descriptions are going to be very much key. Because what we notice is that my local Walmart might sell them for half the price. And that, I think I've seen a couple of them in here as well. So like, I think it was like a mat or something like that. Mats and slings. I think there was something else here that I saw, the same thing. It was like $40, another SKU right here that is Googleable. People do this, $40. No, that wasn't it. It was another one here that I think that I saw, but I did it like 3 different times. I'm like, and I found them for cheaper just on Google. So that's just something I would just simply hide the SKU. Don't change anything else. Just hide the SKU. The SKU, if it can be Googled, if it's someone else's SKU, you know, there's $9 on Amazon, same picture. This means I know same exact product on Amazon for $10, on your website 21. So you're okay doing this. Just if you use custom imagery, also supportive lifestyle imagery, and you hide the SKU, now the brain says, well, is this really the same product? Because theirs looks fantastic. And this might be on Amazon, possibly, you know, an inexpensive version of it. But people, they price shop on Amazon all the time. And it's so funny too, is we'll have people that'll do this with their own products on Amazon. They'll sell it on cheaper on Amazon than they're on their own website. I don't know why, but that's the first thing you never want to do, is have your Amazon be cheaper. So that's right there, just functionality wise. If you use custom imagery, you might say, hey, I need to reduce the size of my product list. That's something that is very important. If you can say, I don't have enough to do all the custom imagery, start somewhere. Just start to do possibly your most popular items, or the items that you have the most amount of profitability. Start there. Start with doing custom imagery, because this is something that, you know, for me, I'm obviously a Google person. I'm not an e-commerce quote unquote expert. I know a lot, but enough to say like, oh, they gave me the SKU right here. I wonder if anybody else sells this. So just something to take a look at. I
That
think
was a ninja pro tip right there. I didn't know that.
And most likely people are not going to. But if so, it just instantly in my mind says, I'm never going to shop with this person again. Because they think now you're price gouging. So that's an issue. Another thing I would say is
just wrote, damn.
Oh. One thing to think about too is when you scroll down, you have this weird little glitch, and I think it's from this header here. If I do one scroll, my mouse wheel goes down one. I do another scroll with my mouse wheel, and then jumps down past the title. So and then it kind of jumps back up. So there's this weird jump that happens in every page. And I'm focusing on the product images just because this is something that you're going to be sending traffic to directly to it. So the first time they ever interact with your business is this page here. So having your logo look good, having this cleaned up here in terms of having your proper capitalization and non-capitalization, and then making sure that this little jump here, I don't know if it happens on mobile, but if it does happen on mobile, that'd be enough to be like, screw it. And then they just jump off. So just make sure that they have that there. Remove the SKU, custom imagery. That's going to help. This is fine here. Ankle weights, 2-pack, 1 pound. Perfect. That's a great title. That's exactly it. Their description, yeah, this is a great description. I mean, I think people have probably a good understanding of what most of the products on here do. So this is great. One thing I would say is you do have a lot of left-handed navigation that possibly could lead to some indecision. My opinion would say the collection here is good, but if when I click on recovery, I've now navigated away from the page. But then if I click on the plus symbol here, now it gives me differences. But these here are no different, in my opinion. I don't think that they are. They're no different than the top navigation. So possibly, is this wasted space? Maybe. Is it taken away from your main product image? Possibly. It's kind of repetitive in my thought process, and I would imagine that this most likely does not show up on mobile. I'm hoping. Yeah, it goes away on mobile, so it's okay. I would say that that's just something, in my opinion, remove left-hand navigation. I think it's just possibly distracting. Hot deals, this is fine here. If you're going to have reviews, my opinion is I probably wouldn't necessarily show reviews because all we're saying right here is I'm the first person to buy this. If you don't have reviews that are being aggregated, just leave them off for now. That's okay.
There's rules engines generally that you can set so that if there's no review, then the review widget isn't shown.
Yeah, I would say that's something that I would say is if there isn't a review, people are like, maybe I'll keep looking. Or all this tells me is, why didn't anybody else buy it? That's the kind of first instinct. So maybe just remove the reviews, or leave these 5 stars here, but like filled in, or just remove them. But anytime they're like, hey, you're the first person to buy this, sometimes can get a little bit skeptical. There isn't any shipping details. So again, I'd probably just remove this tab as well, or fill in shipping details, especially, and maybe say, I guess like shipping details is good. I don't exactly know what would be in here, but I would imagine that someone would say like, how fast does it ship? Are there different, shipping options? Is there prepaid returns? All that stuff. And I know drop shipping is a really big hassle in return, but either, I guess, general rule of thumb, fill it in or take it off. Anything that's blank just means that this is possibly a company that A, brand new, B, might not be around for a long time. C, I don't trust purchasing it because I'm the first person to do so. So just hopefully this is taken best as possible. These pop-ups, in my opinion, I don't like these at all. I think a lot of people who are ordering are starting to become savvy enough to kind of see the like 6 people just added this to their cart 2 minutes ago. I know it's generating scarcity, it's generating activity. Be mindful of that. Again, honesty is key to someone in Aurora, Colorado. It's like, all right, well, I don't need joint pain fingerless compression gloves. It might not be really applicable to me, but what it does give that person is a button to now navigate away from your site and then look at what sales pop is, and then see that it's gained credibility. And now it's basically say like, hey, want to sell more stuff? So it's a link to say like, here's what you're doing to your customers, and I'm your customer, and I found out what this was. So I would just say, just be mindful. of that kind of stuff here. But other than that, I think the layout's good. I like the branding. I like the colors. I like the contact information. Again, just my opinion, shoring up some things here. What you'll notice is right at the top, weight is spelled wrong in the navigation. So that's something that, again, just those little errors, that those are the trust factor bringing it down. Logo looks a little skewed. There's misspellings. There's title case, and there's stock imagery. So I think just, a little bit more love into the site of kind of going through with a fine tooth comb is really, really, really going to help increase your conversion rates.
Japan, I'm going to slack you your next one while I'm working on mine. We'll just go every other one. Is that fair?
Wholesale beddings.
Yep. And then we've got both you and I have a call at noon, so we're gonna have to speed through these.
All right.
Can y'all see my screen? It's on the below scan.
Yep.
Cool. A couple of notes. First of all, I just want to say I love your story. I thought it was so compelling. What I disliked though is it was hard for me to find. You've got this really, and for anybody who's on the call, it's really worth checking out her story. She's got this really compelling story because she is her customer. And so she's got this awesome story about on my 32nd birthday, my skin broke out, and it was a problem and it bothered her. And she tried everything she could, use expensive creams and cleansers that I couldn't afford. This is huge for your avatar. I couldn't get the smooth and glowing skin that I wanted. I tried other things. The more affordable brands didn't work either. I'd love to see a little bit more of a segue as to how you decided to create your own and how you went about doing that. But what an amazing piece of narrative that really connects you to your customer. You're not just selling to them, you are them. And you care about them, and you're articulating that really clear. So I would, it's kind of tough for me to get to unless I know it's there. Like you don't see it in the drop down, you have to click on it in the core menu, you have it in the footer, and then you sort of link to it here. But I just think this is something that's really worth prioritizing. I love your story. And then you've got a couple of before and afters that are really compelling too. And they're even more compelling because they feel very authentic to me. Like this is a screenshot where somebody's been blurred out. And it's not like the night and day difference isn't comical. You're like, oh, she looks better. But it feels real. They do this with fitness sometimes too. If somebody turns in, from being 400 pounds overweight to all of a sudden being a fitness model, nobody believes that. But if you take the person that's, overweight and then you show them in better shape, but still clearly that person, it tends to be a better case study. So I think, and you've got, I noticed as I'm scrolling throughout your product pages, you've got a lot of really good before and afters too. So I think prioritizing the before and after pictures, you could even maybe have a before and after gallery, but I would prioritize your about story because you've got a really, really, really compelling story. I love it. And also prioritize the before and after, and do so in a way that the two end up being analogous to each other. I feel that your product descriptions tend to feel a little compressed. And, this is a really good example. I've got a product here with image or text on the banner that I can't read, which is no problem. That's not uncommon. But then I've got more text here, and then I've got more text here. And this one too feels a little overwhelming. So I might encourage you to use a little bit more in the way of white space. And then when I open it up, I end up in kind of a similar situation. There's a lot of big blocks of text here on the right-hand side, and then a lot of big blocks of text here on the left-hand side. And so I think just breaking these up thematically and putting them in little modules, and then maybe changing the font a little bit so that it doesn't all feel, like everything is bold, which means everything's a priority, which means nothing's a priority. But with that said, the quality of the content you have is really good. You're showing people how it's made, what it's made from, how it works, the ingredients that's involved. So you have all the building blocks here. I just think that the UI needs to be improved just a little bit. I couldn't figure out in the beginning how I could open this up or scroll through. It took me a minute to kind of, get to a better sense to where I could get to where I wanted to go. So, maybe a better option. I like that we have the payment options. Brings me to, I think, Afterpay or a checkout. What happens if I add it to my cart though? This is great. Awesome job. I don't know how many more products you have, so there might not be the opportunity for an upsell or a cross-sell. I think where I would recommend you go is a subscription model. You're dealing with a consumable product, and if you were to sell the education that says, hey, in 90 days, in 8 weeks, in whatever, this could potentially, et cetera, et cetera. So they try it the first time, and the subscription can be the follow-up. I'm not saying that a bunch of people subscribe the very first time, but a good upsell is, hey, subscribe and save. If you're going to do our 9-week regimen, get this delivered once every 2 weeks or whatever it ends up being. I'm making numbers up. But other than that, check your checkout procedure. And then, yeah, Carlos said upsell the product discount. I think you could do a quality discount or quantity discount, excuse me. The multiple pay options in some instances can hurt you because it kind of ends up kind of confusing the checkout option, not telling you to take any away, just a mild note. And that came from my conversation with Scott. I think that the site takes up too much room in the header. Oh, this is cool. Special offer, free shipping, complete checkout in the next 10 minutes. Copy and paste. Let's see if that works.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And that's from OptiMonk. So if I add that, free shipping, that's really cool. I really like that. Other people should have that too. And that looked to be close to exit intent. As I was about to leave, you popped that special offer for me. So that was really well done. Subscribe to get 15% off your first purchase. That's okay. I think because you have such a compelling story and the product is one of your own creation, I think you could probably give them info products here and be just as convertible, and not necessarily have to leave any margin on the table. You know, like, hey, download my 12-week regimen for clear skin. And you can show them what you did, not just from the product perspective, but maybe also from like hydration, exercise, and nutrition or whatever. But yeah, I think you've done a really good job with your story. I really like it. I think that, you know, the site needs a little bit of minor work, as I already mentioned, but awesome job. Japet, you're up.
Yep. Cool.
I'm going to take Happy Me Journal, and then John, I'm going to Slack you your next one, which is Block Street, and then we're done.
Okay. So this one, the wholesale beddings. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. I really like this. One thing that I noticed was kind of funny right off the bat is this is probably seasonal, but it says, hey, extra 25% off code Memorial. I'm like, sweet, code Memorial. And then if I wait a couple more seconds, what ends up happening is, want extra 25% off, give me your email. I'm like, I don't need to. It says go Memorial. I'm good here. So probably more just seasonal, like, hey, we just stuck up that banner, wanted to have a run a sale for Memorial Day. Totally cool. I'm imagining after Memorial Day, that banner's going off, so not going to nitpick it. But just in case you look like your email subscriptions possibly have gone down this last weekend, that might be why. But just as a fun thing. Other than that, I really like this site. I'm a very big fan of white, clean lines. And that is what you have done here. Very kind of light theme, I would say. Now, you seem to be already having some success, and a good amount of success, I would say, with the website. The sales, again, I would not recommend changing them just because I believe that you've had some good success here. So it'd be against probably your best interest to stop running as many sales. They seem to be working, and if we haven't had any issues with it, that's good. I see that you actually already use the not necessarily it is a plugin or an app, but you do have the Google reviews. Again, 4.8, 95 positive feedback, 1,500 reviews. Awesome, great social proof right there. I think that this possibly could be a little bit bigger, just because that's that really good social proof. My opinion is, I don't know, I'm not an expert on accessibility ruling, but if you could swap the left and the right hand side from the 4.8 customer reviews to the left, the accessibility options over to the right, that would be my opinion, only because, as you noticed on most websites where you go to, the stuff that you tend to ignore is on the bottom right. The stuff that's more important is on the bottom left. Why? Because your eyes read left to right. So the first thing your eyes do is they go left here, left here, left here. I'm not even paying attention to the right side that much. So swapping that actually might give you a little bit more in terms of visibility to that 4.8 Google customer reviews. That's hard to get, and we know how hard that is. I think we have like a 4.9 or 5.0 rating on Google right now, and for our reviews, and that is a big hill to climb. So good on you. I would make that top dead bold front and center, kind of like how that SWJ buyers website, they had we put it big and bold here on the bottom left and the chat on the bottom right, because this is where your eyes tend to look first, is usually the left side screen, because you can't read from right to left. If you can, good on you. That's really amazing. I can't do that. But this is where I would say is a great website. I really like the imagery. I like the close-ups here. This is really good. I like that you have the price changes, even though the before price changes with the sale. I love the ships next business day, the accordion for the description. is going to be good. Googlebot has an issue with this, but Feed does not. Googlebot's going to say, there's actually a tool inside of Google Search Console that says, what does Googlebot see? And Googlebot will say, when I read your site, I stopped reading here because this one actually started to have CSS overlay. So just as a side note, if SEO is an issue or an SEO is of importance to you, sometimes Googlebot doesn't read lazy loads. So this is not actually read. Sometimes it's not found in the HTML. So picky side note. Love the social proof, love the review. I saw another product that had a bunch of reviews. I like the sticky here. This is something that once you have agreed to purchase this thing, you have a fairly nice add to cart. I've already added something to the cart. I love this here. Spend 1 penny more and get free shipping. That's great. That's kind of like a little upsell there. That if I just spend at least $50, I get free shipping. So it adds something else to the cart. I love that you can either view cart or check out. I have very little to say negatively about this. I think this is very, very well done. I like this a lot. I'm probably going to order something from here because my wife is looking for bedding. So other than that,
you get 25% off, John.
I know, Code Memorial. But I didn't give you my email. So just as a little side note there, you'll get my email if I order something. But I like this. Everything's very clean, not overly large, very nice. You have the transparent background. I did a search. This is what I love too. When I do King, you give me suggestions. That's fantastic as well. Honestly, the only thing that I possibly could say is more technical. When I went to the product page and I looked through your tag manager here, I didn't see a data layer for ecom prod ID. In the data layer here, there is no ecom prod ID. So if you're running Google Ads right now, possibly you might be having a Google Ads tag issue where it might say 100% of your ecom prod ID has not fired in the last 24 hours. That is a slight issue to me. If you're not running smart shopping, you're not running dynamic marketing, it is not an issue. But I didn't see in the data layer an ecom prod ID. As you'll see in our purposeful baskets during our build out, when you're watching the 3x Shopify, when you look at a product page here, let me enable this. What you'll want to see is come on, data layer. There it is, data layer here. You'll see ecom prod ID. And this tells Google here what product someone was looking at so that they get remarketed to and come back to buy. That comes through Tag Manager. I didn't see that on yours. Now it's not saying it's not there, but that's where it would show. So this is indicative that you might have an audience error. So just make sure that that's something that you're not having that error. All you have to do is go into Tools, go into Audience Manager, look at Audience Sources. Audience Sources will have Google Ads Tag. Google Ads Tag might show a big red 1 issue. Check that and let me know if there is an issue, because that's something that is a huge gaping hole in a remarketing strategy. Other than that, I mean, the site is fantastic. I have no issues unless someone else has anything that they would say. I love the way this is. I'm very analytical, so this is laid out exactly perfectly boxed to how I'd like it. So I like it a lot.
Yay. Glenn mentioned something in chat that I want to draw everybody's attention to. He said, regarding coupon codes, I run a Google Ads campaign for a client using keyword coupon code. When they Google the term, a specific ad comes up that takes them to a landing page with a code, and they can use that code for a discount. The campaign has a 30% conversion rate and 2,000% ROAS. That's amazing. My turn. John, you're up next for Block Street. I've got that in your Slack.
Yep.
I'm going to go over Happy Me Journal. I've been looking at this while John was doing his review. I think this is the gold standard for a single product website. I think you've done a phenomenal job. I do have a couple of really mild notes, but I just want everybody to see this because, first of all, if you're selling one product or one type of product, the rules change a little bit in terms of the way that we're displaying information, how it's contextualized, how we approach people with information, etc. A couple of notes. I love the way that you've used this space. I think this offer could be a little more compelling. Free shipping on orders of 3 or more journals. I'd be really interested to see what would happen if your journal, whatever your average shipping cost, let's say it's $5. If you charge $35 for this journal and then offer free shipping across the board, I would test that and see which one ends up being more profitable for you. People hate shipping charges. Amazon has spoiled all of us. And so free shipping is kind of a ubiquitous truth, can help, especially for a product like this that tends to be a little bit more Amazonable maybe than some others. And so charging more and offering free shipping is just something worth playing with. Love the badges that you're using here. And honestly, all of them that you're using, I think are really compelling. Recommended by pediatricians, last 3 full months. Gold award winner. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what the Junior Design Award is, but all of a sudden it's just really impressive to me and I like it. Rated 4.9 stars based on 392 reviews. I think all this is amazing. And then I like that you have this kind of clear line of demarcation. There could even, potentially be a visual here that sort of lets people know, but I think the ages 6 to 12 and ages 12 and up, I immediately funnel myself to where I need to go. One allows for color changes, one doesn't. So I'm almost thinking that maybe we just remove this because I tried to play with it for a second, thinking I wanted a different color. And maybe don't even show that the color change is available until they're in the junior version, because now the teen journal people think they're missing out and they should have had colors too. Just a soft opinion. Love what you've done with your social proof. I think it's awesome. What I like about it is these are like authorities. So you went off and found yourself some real deal authorities, and then they wrote some, really awesome social proof for you. I think that's great. More badges here, award winning, over 150,000 journals sold. Y'all, stuff like this, when you can pull this data together, that's really important. Now available in 8 languages, shipped to 100 different countries. Like, this is all social proof. And then I love this. This is great. You can go on Fiverr and get something like this made up for your product. If you have a product that's specific to you, that you invented, that's unique, that has, unique options or whatever. I just think that this is really kind of a fun way for people to shop and to play and to dream. More social proof. 6 ways Happy Me works. Like this is nonstop objection hurdling, one after the other after the other. And you'll notice that the homepage specifically, and I realize that we're not supposed to harp on homepages, but in this particular instance for this client, this actually might be one where you would have some traffic going to the homepage depending on the context. It has an ongoing sort of refresh. So I'm looking at the product, and then I'm looking at social proof, and then I scroll a little bit more, and now I'm looking at, based on the science, and it encourages me to continue to kind of travel down this rabbit hole and funnel myself towards a purchase decision. So I think this is really cool, really well done. And then you'll notice that there's repeat and ongoing calls to action using the isolation effect. If I want to go figure out, my little boy is 6 years old, so I'm going to go see what this one looks like. I didn't love the image gallery. It was hard for me to figure out how to expand this, and I don't think I can. And then when I click on, oh, there we go. So that kind of broke continuity for me a little bit. I don't even know how I did that. I bet you I did break it. I want to see the detail in the product because there's a lot of detail options available, and I can't zoom in any further. So that's one improvement opportunity. I like that you're showing social proof. I'm a dad, so when I see kiddos, there's empathic triggers that fire, obviously. And then I also get to see like, oh gosh, man, I can't believe they're doing that. And you start to picture your kids doing it. Love the social proof here. Happy Me has been featured in. I also like that it's not a scrolling banner. I like that you occupied as much space as you did. Love the video that you're using. I think you did a really great job. I listened to it on mute, of course. But it's nice because it's just like, oh my goodness, look at all the value there. That's unbelievable. One note for you. I mean, again, hurdling objections. Y'all, this is such an amazing example of what you can do with your content. This is one product. Look at the amount of work they've put into one product, and all the social proof, all the objection hurdling, all the information, all the content. I think that's just so well done. And then, you've got your social proof from parents with pictures from parents, FAQs that are expanded. And I mean, not light either. Like there's been some very real work done here. This is just super impressive to me. I think this is a subscription model. If the journal lasts 3 months, then I should be able to order one that comes to me every 3 months. So I think that that's a good opportunity, improvement opportunity for you. I like the way your cart functions. We're using the isolation effect, sort of. And then I jump over here and it's like, okay, I can choose how many I want. So if I wanted to get the 3, I get the 3 and update the cart. I can keep shopping, or I can check out. And then if I check out, let's see what happens. Now I'm in the normal checkout procedure. The coupon code has been removed, which is fine. Did I get my free shipping though? I did the 3 that you asked me to do, and it didn't tell me that I got my free shipping, which is just, that's one of those, John mentioned earlier, continuity. You want to maintain continuity in their browsing and their shopping experience. Other than that, I think your newsletter, again, could be more compelling. You might send them a free page or two. Hey, print your own journal at home and try it out. Try it before you buy it. And that's a really good way to get somebody who's not about to buy but wants to engage, and you can capture emails that way. Other than that, I think you did just a stellar job. I'm super impressed. I love the brand. I love the branding. Really well done. Pat on the back. John, you're up.
Love this website. This is great. Block Street. So I get blockchain, cryptocurrency. I like this, but the way that you presented this was just fantastic. There's a couple things I think that we want to do for Google, but I love this. Like just the something is, I think it's fungible or fungible. I'm just gonna say fungible is when it can be replaced with another of its kind, like a dollar or my stepmom. It can be like my girlfriend. They don't exist, can't be replaced. Like just funny stuff. I love this stuff. I know we only have 6 minutes left, so I'm gonna go through a couple of the first things. There's a QR code on the arm, and I kind of understand on the product description page how the QR code is scannable QR code on the sleeve. You also explained on the previous page how it works. We ship the item to you, you try it on, you send us I think it was, you sent us the code. I have to kind of go back here. You fill out the NFT request form. We'll transfer ownership of the NFT to you. !profit. Again, another meme right from South Park. Love that. I think this is perfect. You know your avatar so well. This is a really great job about this. I even get like the blockchain technology and spicy memes. And then I just so funny, like if you guys like it, there'll be more. If not, I guess it's back to OnlyFans. Like just so funny. Like this is great stuff. Technology wise from Google, this is going to be hard for Google to do anything with. I would replace the specs with the descriptions. I know that's going to be bad, but if you're using just a standard fee management tool, you're going to import possibly all of this stuff here as a description. Google is going to read this and try to make searches for it. So like you collapsed to the ground, exhausted, yet euphoric, bad secured. Awesome story. Love the story that you placed in here for your avatar. Makes a whole lot of sense. Google's going to try to search for things like trekking countless peaks and valleys. So Google's going to start searching for that. And so that's where you were kind of confusing Google. Feed management tool like Data Feed Watch, you can exclude this, include this. If you're not using a Data Feed Watch or feed management tool, you're going to want to swap these because it's going to type priority top to bottom. Check from a description or a technical aspect. You do have ecom product firing. All of your products are out of stock, so Google's not going to run until you have an in-stock item. So just as a side note, if you wanted to launch these things, you can run a pre-sale, but Google's going to say cannot purchase one of your products. So Google Ads is just going to immediately disapprove all of these items. They're all going to show out of stock. Google Ads is never going to run. If you want it to be pre-sale, you're going to have some sort of inventory available that once the inventory sells out, you can go out of stock. But probably something hopefully you already know. The other thing I would say is let's do a little bit more description on how it works. We're going to send traffic right to this page here. If they see a QR code and they're kind of understanding this, I don't know anything else. I have to go hunt for it. So maybe place some additional information down here of saying like how it works and what exactly is entailed. Why is it unique and valuable for me? And what can my future of cryptocurrency and possibly intro to blockchain, because I just found out about it. It's edgy, it's memes, it's cool. I don't know how it works yet. So would I buy this depending upon the price? I don't know. There's a secondary layer of this is more than just apparel. It's now NFT authenticated. What does that mean? On the product page, it doesn't tell me. So make sure you have a very descriptive instructions, or here's from now in the future how it scales, how it becomes possibly valuable to you. You've done that on other pages, but not on the product page. So I would definitely place it on the product page itself. For the avatar, I think this is perfect. Kind of that short attention span type of possible type of user that just wants something really cool. Huh?
I said, how dare you?
Well, it's so funny because it just says, Qasim, I'm sorry to call you out, but it says, hey, do you suffer from paper hands? Qasim and I maybe did a little bit of trading in AMD recently, so we're a part of this, but it's just so funny. So diamond hands, like I love this stuff. Like I'm into this, but I know this type of genre is possibly a little bit more quick thoughts. So that's where you just want to have at least on one page, black and white. It's fine here. I think that this is for the avatar perfect. This is not your avatar is not going to be the more established, possibly boomer generation that is looking for quality. This is going to be to the younger generation. So I think that you nailed it for the design for your avatar, which is great. Make sure you can explain more in thorough detail though. I couldn't add it to cart or anything like that, so I can't check that functionality yet. I don't know what the price is, but you're gonna need to have obviously the price, the add to cart, all that functionality just for Google to run. But you're set up to have stuff inside of your site to get it to work through. But other than that, I love this stuff. It's great. I think that if I was in the market for any type of crypto apparel, that would be something that I would purchase. Your titles though, that's another. I try to make this as short as possible just because I want to get all the points out. You need to have something that says cryptocurrency apparel, blockchain apparel. That's what people are going to be searching for. That's the search with display select. No one's going to be looking for NFT authenticated shirts or diamond. It might be looking for diamond hand shirts, but cryptocurrency apparel and blockchain apparel, I would put that in your title. That's gonna, I can't tell you, that might be the differentiating factor between kind of working and working really, really well, just because that's what people might be looking for the most. So just think about your titles there a little bit more.